Next, he moves on to the kenosis of Christ, right? And this is spelled out in Philippians chapter 2, right? Showcasing both the divine and human natures in such proximity was not the norm for Jesus during his early ministry. Now, he does give, there was some times, for instance, Jesus is asleep on the boat, right? And yet he wakes up, so he's asleep, he's tired, he goes to sleep, that's his humanity. But then he wakes up and he performs this miracle, he stills the storm, and so is deity. So you see both of these things, right, in proximity. But Christensen tells us that that's not the regular way that we see Jesus operating, right?
And if you want to hear a sermon from church history on this, I read one for our friends over at Revive Thoughts on this very passage right here. So,
cool.
So it's like, this one looks familiar. I think I remember this. But yeah, so yeah, he's man in a boat who's very tired. So the storm should be rocking him awake instead of asleep.
Right.
But he's so exhausted that 12 guys have to come up to him and say, "We're all going to die." And he just wakes up and goes, "Oh, you have little faith." And then he gets up and does the very manly thing of calming the storm, so much so that the apostles, the disciples that are with him, are fearful of him and go, "Who is this man that the winds and the rains would listen to him?" So this isn't the normal. This is it's one of the reasons that it's being written about here in your gospel writings here.
Mark 4. Yeah.
And so so here's a uniqueness where we see the divine and the man
kind of
being
juxtaposition,
together.
In proximity, close to each other, that sort of thing. But he tells us that the Gospels primarily picture Christ as operating as a man, right? And only when the occasion warrants do we see the evidences of his deity, even though he's always acting as the eternal Son of God. Right? Because he's still upholding the universe, right?
Right. Everything's dependent on him. He can't go to sleep.
Yeah, it's not.
He can't fully go to sleep. He's got one eye open, make sure the atoms are still spinning. All right, but this points us to the doctrine of kenosis, the self-emptying of Christ spelled out in Philippians 2, 5 through 11. In other words, the Son is fully God and reveals the glory of the Godhead in his pre-incarnate mode of existence. John 7:5 and Hebrews 1:3 talks about this. The Incarnation veiled this glory in accordance with his earthly mission. So again, it's not a removal, but it's a concealing. It's the man behind the curtain. So Jesus did not seek to take undue advantage of his equality with God. This qualifies what the term emptied or Incarnation means.
So we get the kenosis from that particular word.
Yeah, it's not the newest Joe Rogan dietary fad and or anything like that. It's this emptying, this emptying by veiling, and so he takes this opportunity to kind of clarify what that emptying entails here. Jesus did not empty himself of divinity. Rather, he assumed a new form of a servant. In other words, Paul says that Jesus was born in the likeness of men, taking on full identity with the human race. Again, very important that this happens. Thus, the kenosis of Christ ironically occurred not by removing something or the divine essence and the attributes. He doesn't just give that up, but by adding something, the humble realities of humanity. So I'm sure it's heresy somewhere, but I like it as a big raincoat. So he's not adding to himself by putting on the rain jacket, but he's concealing his clothes underneath by the rain jacket, and so he's able to go out into the world of rain and evil and downpours and lightning strikes, and be kind of veiled in this way.
Right. So the emptying is the veiling of it, right? The hiding of it, not taking it, not using it for his own, purposes and that sort of thing.
That's this isn't pouring out a glass of water. Oh, I got 30% of my divinity out. That should be good. I got to save 70%.
That's right. Let's put a little humanity and sprinkle some humanity. No. Yeah. He added humanity, but he still retained his deity, right? He emptied in terms of veiling it, right? Not using it, not displaying his glory, right? That's the idea here.